Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a special Let's Reminisce podcast. This is a podcast all about stuff in gaming trends, about top 10s, about all that good stuff, and Saturday morning cartoons as well. It could be a varied podcast, but this is about the top 10 PS2 games. So I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Renegade Operative, and here I have a slew of co-hosts here. So I'm going to introduce my co-host, Mr. Bio Devil Dom.
How's it going? My name is Bio Devil Dom, and I can some of these PS2 games.
Next, we have Mr. Arcane Magic 514.
Hi.
Straight to the point as usual. So, we have Mr. 563 Gaming.
What's up? 5-6 Smoke here for 563 Gaming anyway. I go by Smoke.
Next, we have Mr. Oh, Smoke. You were continuing?
No, go ahead.
Okay, so we have Mr. Black Canadian TV.
Hey, what's going on? I'm Yanni from Black Canadian TV.
Next, we have Mr. SKC.
Yeah, what's up? It's Joe from Some Kind of Channel.
Next, we have Miss Ellie. So, could you introduce yourself, please?
Hi, I'm Lithium. I'm kind of like a guest here, so great to be here. Hope you guys enjoy having me here. I don't know what else to say. Thanks.
And the last person we have is Mr. Devil Hunter James.
Man, I just realized I'm last on every intro.
Probably that's probably
I
for
feel your
me.
pain.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta save the best for last, you know.
Oh, shut up. All right. So.
Well, worse for last.
Damn, he's just gonna throw you under the bus.
All right. So.
I'll beat him up after.
Beat him up for his lunch money, but I'm going to go first since I'm going to go down the list. I have mine prepared. So number one is GTA San Andreas. I think that was the best GTA game ever. So many features, so much cool
Best
content.
protagonist.
Oh yeah, I love CJ as well, going around punching people in the face and saying "fuck the police."
Yes.
He was so great.
Yes.
I don't know if it's just me, but the flight school for that, like, I used to love doing that.
Oh yeah, same here. And I think the weapons were really good, and they had stuff like you could work out and increase your stats, which they didn't have in other GTA games. So that's what makes that game special for me. Number two is Manhunt. I just really like the style and aesthetic of going around and hunting people. I thought it was pretty cool for the stuff they had in the game, like the gore and the combat, and Rockstar's first stealth game. Third game is Shadow of the Colossus. That game looks amazing. I think I said it looks like one of the best PS2 games graphically with how it held up. So I really enjoyed like taking down the big monsters and everything. Number four is Max Payne. Great shooter. I think it's one of the best third-person shooters. Remedy did a good job there with the whole slow-mo mechanic and how you could like kill enemies, and it reminded me a lot of the Matrix, so that's why I really loved Max Payne. Fifth, Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. Best Metal Gear Solid, hands down. I think that they did some stuff that was pretty cool, like the survival viewer, getting injured out in the wild, throwing animals on people. That never gets old for me. Zone of the Enders.
How does it taste, though?
Oh, it tastes like snake. So, next we have Zone of the Enders 2 Second Runner. This is number 6. Second Runner is a lot better than the original one. I think the original one just had a lot of boring spots, but the action is really increased in the sequel. There's a lot more going on. It runs crisp and smooth, and I really enjoy that game. Time Splitters 2 is number 7. Best first-person shooter tops on the PS2. Number 8 is The Warriors. That's a gangland style beat 'em up that Rockstar Games did. That is pretty impressive. Number 9 is Resident Evil 4. That is still one of the greatest action games I've played that gen. So that is the 6th generation Resident Evil 4. Definitely a good game. And the last one is Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man going open world. So because of this game, I think that it needs to draw some influences on other games as well, like Spider-Man for the PS4, because that open world was pretty amazing. What you could do, the powers, the move sets. It's a little bit too easy, but still, it was a great game, and I think that a lot of people could borrow a lot of things from that game. So that is my top 10. So next up, we have Mr. Dominic.
All right, so my list isn't like, a definitive, like these are the best, top 10 games or whatever. No, it's just a list of 10 games that I feel as though people should like play. So number one would be Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. I kind of want to add on to like Ren's point, like for the time, it was just, very, I guess you can say ahead of its time with like how you needed to survive as a character and just kind of manage your like resources and whatnot. So it was very, and I really like the era Solid 3 is in because I don't know, I just feel like the Cold War was just a very interesting time period, I guess. And a lot of the characters in that game are great, so I definitely recommend playing Metal Gear Solid 3. Up next, I have the original Yakuza game. Definitely dated, but still a good game nonetheless. Very fun beat 'em up that done by Sega. Mark Hamill's in it, which if anybody's curious, he plays Goro Majima. So definitely recommend checking that out. This next game that I have up here, I used to play this game like all the time with my cousin, and it's Need for Speed Underground 2. Like we would play this game like all the fucking time. It was so much fun. Just being able to like customize your cars and make them faster and race a lot in an open world type of setting is just a lot of fun. Chaos Legion, I know we kind of talked one before. I also put this one on my list. It is a fun hack and slash type of beat 'em up with some interesting concepts. I think that Capcom is really just missing out on like, maybe bringing it back eventually, but definitely recommend playing that. The soundtrack is fucking amazing on that game. What is it? Nightshade is great. It more or less can be viewed as a clone of Shinobi because it's a direct sequel and it plays more or less the same with no real differences other than you're playing as a different character. But I think I like Nightshade a little bit more just because it's harder than Shinobi, and I think the soundtrack is just a little bit better.
And because Hibana.
Yeah, Hibana waifu, yeah. But next up, definitely got to go with some Devil May Cry 3 Special Edition. Ruben Langdon as Dante, awesome. Soundtrack is awesome. Honestly, it's one of the best Devil May Cry games to date, and the only one that actually tops it is Devil May Cry 4 Special Edition. But we're not here to talk about that game. We're here to talk about PS2 games. So, definitely recommend it. Put in a lot of hours into that game, and I think it is something that is a must play. Up next, Onimusha 2. Definitely one of my favorites in the Onimusha series. Played a lot of that. Very good sequel, underrated sequel, I would say as well. Not a lot of people like that one for some reason. I don't know why. Overall, it was a great improvement over the original. Up next, I played this one a lot too back in the day, and I probably put in over 1,000 hours in this game because I love much Samurai Warriors 2 Empires. I just like the idea of being put into a Samurai Warriors Dynasty Warriors like game and taking over an entire country in feudal Japan. So it was a lot of fun, and I put in like too many hours to count at this point, so it's something that I would heavily recommend. After that, I have Onimusha 3 Demon Siege, which is the last game in the trilogy for Onimusha. Little bit underwhelming as far as moving on from 2 to 3, but overall I think it was a great game. Very very epic conclusion to that trilogy, and definitely would recommend just going through that entire trilogy, but Onimusha 3 is definitely up there. And then last but not least, the original Devil May Cry, very revolutionary for its time, and it is the reason why hack and slash, that genre is relevant as much as it is today. So those are my top 10.
All right, so next up is Mr. Brandon. So what's your list, buddy? Yoo-hoo, Brandon.
Brandon is dead.
He said he was AFK or he was BRB.
Well, I guess we could skip on to Smoke then to sort of fill the void. So, Mr. Smoke, what is your list?
All right. I had it written down. First of all, I just want to say that a lot of these aren't probably the best games, but they're the games that I spent the most time on. And I played PS2 came out when I was a freshman in high school, so I was actually really busy in high school, so I didn't get a chance to play a ton of PS2 games. But my list is Final Fantasy X. Love that game. I probably logged 200-300 hours into that game my freshman year of high school, and over the summer in between freshman and sophomore years. And I mean, for me, that was like one of the first games where each character had a voice actor, attributed to them, and it was just it blew my mind. So I really loved Final Fantasy X. The next one on my list is going to have to be Devil May Cry 3. Love that game. I was talking about it earlier, and it was one of the first games that I actually went out and pre-ordered. Like, it was actually the first game I went out and pre-ordered because I was looking forward to it so much because I love the original Devil May Cry. I'm not even going to talk about the second one, but that one's on my list as well, is the original Devil May Cry. Yet again, I mean, Dom just talked about it, so I mean, he said pretty much everything that I could say about it. But both the 3 and the original were amazing games. The first one really kind of blew me away because, I'd never played a game like that before, and it was just, it totally knocked my socks off as far as, I was like 15 at the time, and Dante was just cool as hell. And so yeah, that those 2 Devil May Cry games definitely in the top 10. Metal Gear Solid 2 actually is on my list. And that's probably because I actually, don't hate me, but I never played the third one. The third one came out when I was, I don't know, it was 2006, 2005, somewhere around in there. I'd already moved out.
2004, 2005, and then subsistence version came out, which it was kind of like special edition.
Time to get the pitchforks.
That was pretty much. Go ahead.
I was gonna say that I would definitely try it out.
Oh, I mean, I have every intention of it at some point getting back to that one. I just never got the chance to, because that was around the time that I was actually moving out of my mom's house, and I had a job, and I was fresh out of high school, and I didn't have a lot of time on my hands to sit down and play a lot of video games, so I kind of had to pick and choose, and Metal Gear Solid was one of the ones that just didn't get picked. I mean,
yeah. Like, I totally understand. But
Like,
I didn't want to interrupt.
One last thing, let me interject real quick. Subsistence was the best out of that whole thing because that expansion really helped the camera a lot. So I will say if you could get a version, get Subsistence or get the HD collection with that game in it. So that's all I have to say.
And then, but the second one was, I did play, and I played that right when it came out. And I actually my mom couldn't afford to buy me the game, so I asked her to rent it for me. And I sat down at like, I don't know, 7, 8 o'clock, right after like dinner, and my youngest brother went to bed. and I put it in the PS2, and I literally sat there and played the entire game from start to finish that night. Like I finished it like 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. I mean, I just went on I stopped to eat and, whatever, but for the most part, I just sat there on a 12-hour gaming binge and beat the second Metal Gear Solid game in one sitting. Because, like I said, my mom rented it from Blockbuster and I only had a couple days to beat it. And I just was so stuck on that game that I just didn't want to put it down. So, and it was like I said, freshman year of high school, like 2001 or something like that. So yeah, I didn't have anything pressing to do the next day. So I, that game really was fun to play for me. I mean, obviously I just couldn't put it down. The next one on my list is going to be Tony Hawk's Underground. And I played the crap out of that game. I mean, I wouldn't put it in like a top 10, normally, but it was just one of those games that I spent a lot of hours on and had a lot of fun with. So, I mean, also Need for Speed Underground, the first one. I like the second one, but the first one felt like it was more about racing and less about car customization. And I don't know, that was the first one of those games that I played. There was that one too. What was it? Carbon, and then but of those, I like the original one the best. It had a really good soundtrack too. Let's see. Next we have a game called Kinetica. I don't know if any of you guys ever played it, but it was like a racing game, but like it went super fast and you were like on these little like bikes and you could do tricks and stuff. And I played a ton of that, not by myself so much, but it was actually one of my best friend's games. And that was one of those games where like when you had a big group of people hanging out or, like partying or whatever we were doing in high school, we'd be sitting around playing that game like for hours, just hanging out. So that's on my top 10 just because I had a lot of fun playing that one with a lot of friends. So and then Grand Theft Auto San Andreas is on there. I mean, that was of the 3 Grand Theft Autos that were out at the time, that was by far the best one. I mean, there was just so much to do. And like Ren said, you could up your stats and you could it was the most immersive of the 3 games where I really felt like I was actually walking around the city at times. And, I had a lot of fun in that game. And then Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance. I used to beat the crap out of my brothers all day, every day, playing that game. That was, for me, that was one of my favorite fighting games of all time. I mean, I just loved Deadly Alliance and when they introduced like the sidestep and the different styles and you could switch through them. And, I had a lot of fun with that game. And then last but not least, God of War. I love God of War. I got it right when it came out and played the crap out of it. And it was nice to play another nice hack and slash. I like the God of War series. So, but the first one really kind of blew my mind too. I really enjoyed it. And I was, always into Greek mythology when I was a kid. So it was kind of cool to see play out on the screen like that. So that's my list.
Okay, so it's your turn, Mr. Black Canadian TV. What is your list?
Okay, well, let's see. I'm gonna do it in descending order, starting from 10 being my lowest and 1 being my highest. So number 10 is going to be Tulip for me. It's a cute little charming game. It's developed by a developer called Punchline. It came out like in 2002, 2003 or whatever. It's just a cute little adventure game where you play as a schoolboy trying to win over his crush. I think it's like cute. It has a good aesthetic to it. And yeah, I like playing it. It was probably like the only like recent PlayStation 2 game that I played that actually had a good impact on me. And then there's my number 9 pick is Shin Megami Tensei Devil Summoner. It's a pretty good action RPG or not really action RPG, turn based, I believe it is. I haven't played it in a long time. I just remember the aesthetic is good, and if you like Persona, then you obviously gonna like this game. It's from the same creators of Persona, so you play as basically like a demon or a devil detective, and you like catch and hunt demons and stuff. So it's pretty cool. It has a neat idea. My number 8 one is Jack 2. Not really into like adventure games too much. I think I tapped out at Banjo Tooie, but like if you're looking for like a nice fun little adventure game to play, Jack 2 is good. Jack 1 has a very like slow pace, so I would suggest starting at Jack 2. Probably just like read an outline on what Jack 1 was about. But yeah, Jack 1 was a little bit slower paced, and plus Jack 2 introduced a new aspect of like you can turn into evil Jack, and like you had different powers and stuff like that. So that's a plus side to that game.
And the gun.
Yeah, and the gun, and the fact that like Jack can actually speak in this one. Uh, number 7 would be Final Fantasy X. Probably one of my least favorite Final Fantasy games, not including the freaking Lightning series of Final Fantasy, but like Final Fantasy X just didn't really grab me. The whole Aqua/Island aesthetic didn't really grab me in too much. The lack of changing environments, but like overall, it was still had a good gripping story. Combat was good. Progression was all right. Ending was 10 on 10 if you don't count 10-2. That next one is Devil May Cry 3. Reason why Devil May Cry 3 is like this high on the list is because I've never beaten to completion Devil May Cry 3, which I really should get back to it one of these days. But yeah, Devil May Cry 3 is definitely up there. Katamari Damacy is like a fun, nice game just to play as, like just sitting down, relaxing with a group of friends, listening to nice music, just playing as a little guy, rolling up a bunch of objects and stuff. It's nice if you like are just a person who doesn't really like long, like story-based games and just like to have like small goal-orientated games. So that would be good for you if you just like to play like nice little cute, like good music games and stuff like that. Then there's Geo Bizarre Adventure Golden Wind. That game never officially came out in the US or North America. I believe it only came out in Japan. It's a pretty good, it's like a beat 'em up game. So if you like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, this is technically part 5 in the arc. So so if you read part 5 and you're interested in playing JoJo's game that isn't like the recent ones that came out, pick up Geo Bizarre Adventure. It's out on the PlayStation 2. I believe you can only import it, or maybe you have to emulate it, find like a ROM somewhere. But yeah. My number 3 pick is, of course, I'm surprised actually nobody mentioned it. Maybe I'm just the only one, but Kingdom Hearts 2. The reason why I chose Kingdom Hearts 2 over Kingdom Hearts 1 on the list is because Kingdom Hearts 2 overall improved what the problems that Kingdom Hearts 1 had, and I didn't want to add like sequels onto the list. So yeah, Kingdom Hearts 2 definitely. Kingdom Hearts is like it shouldn't work. Overall, Kingdom Hearts shouldn't really work. And I'm like surprised it did so well. And Kingdom Hearts 2 is like one of the better out of the two, so I really like it. Number 2 pick is Guitaru Man. It's a sort of like a Beat Mania like rhythm game. Has cool music, has a nice layout. Has like a nice layout and stuff, and I like the story is pretty decent and fun to play. And my number 1 pick would have to be Persona 3 FES, just due to the fact that like it's one of my favorite Persona games. But the reason why I didn't put 4 over Persona 3 when coming to this list is because overall I think Persona 3 were weak in some parts, but yeah, the reason why I didn't add Persona 4 is because I believe the better definitive version is on the Persona 4 Golden on the Vita, so that's why I didn't add that to the list. But Persona 3 is a good JRPG slash date sim if you're really into that stuff. You get to make friends using your social link system, as well as you get to battle demons and stuff. The combat system is much similar to like games like Pokemon and stuff like that. There's type advantages and all that stuff when it comes to fighting demons in Persona. So, yeah, that is my top 10 list.
All right, so Mr. SKC, it is your turn. What is your top 10 list of PS2 games?
All right. For me, I would have started this out with San Andreas, but so far I think there's either been 2 or maybe even 3 people that covered it, so I'm gonna skip over that one. From there, kind of surprised no one said it yet, but God of War 2. The cinematics in this game absolutely like blew me away at the time. I don't know. It was ridiculous to see back then. I ended up throwing Devil May Cry on here at number 3. I don't know. I was gonna throw Resident Evil 4 instead, but this game gave me very like similar, I guess, vibes to it that Resident Evil did, and I figured less people would have mentioned it. But based on the list we've already heard so far, I was really wrong with that assumption. From there, Silent Hill 2, easily one of the scariest games like I'd played. Like even now, I feel like if I was to go back and play it, like it would still hold up. The game was absolutely amazing. From there, GTA 3. I feel like that. Actually, I'm pretty sure it was 3 that had shaped from the overhead camera view they had used to use to the more third-person angle. Someone correct me if I'm wrong there. But yeah, that I feel like I need to throw on here just because that alone shaped where GTA is now.
Yeah, GTA 3 was the first game that used a 3D camera angle. The rest of them were top-down, so that was the first one that sort of revolutionized the genre with that camera angle and the open world.
All right, yeah, thanks for double-checking that on me.
No problem.
From there, I'm not really big on fighting games most of the time, so I was hesitant when I'd originally picked it up. But Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks, I feel like I could still go back now if I had my PS2 still and play that and find it to be enjoyable.
That's a good game.
I remember going, I'd sit down on a Saturday morning just playing through as Liu Kang, and that game was something else. Another similar game to that, which is the next one on the list, being The Warriors. I'm pretty sure I heard someone in here mention that one. I loved how everything with I guess the entire environment, for the most part, you could end up using. It was, I don't think there was anything else at the time that was, similar to that. Rockstar had absolutely killed it when they had used that one.
Yeah, and that would be me that mentioned it because of... I mean, it's just great. You can, jack people. You can throw bricks at people's heads. You can smash up stores. It was great for an open world beat 'em up, and I really enjoyed it for what it was.
Yeah. Another one being, and I'm gonna butcher this one, Onimusha. Is that how it's said? I know someone had said it earlier, right?
That was me. I'm the... So
right.
I had to bring it up.
Correct.
Yeah, I always used to butcher the pronunciation. So Onimusha Warlords, again, same kind of thing with the Devil May Cry. It gave me those Resident Evil vibes when I was playing it, but something about it being essentially like a Resident Evil but with samurais. Like I have yet to see anything like it, even now. And
if you don't mind me explaining a little bit on that, the reason why it's like that is because it was going to originally be Sengoku Resident Evil or Sengoku Biohazard. So it was going to be a Resident Evil spin-off set in feudal Japan.
I didn't know that. That explains a lot, actually, with the whole feeling of playing the game. From there, gonna go to Metal Gear Solid Sons of Liberty. I'd stopped playing the Metal Gear Solids, Metal Gear series, I want to say probably about 4 years ago, but even then, there was nothing really bad that came from that series. but I feel like that was one of, if not the best game up until that point. That in terms of, you know, the story and how it was written, it was amazing. And then the last one on my list being, yeah, sorry about that. Last one on the list being Kingdom Hearts. Something about that game, I don't know. The whole idea of mixing the Final Fantasy and Disney universe, it doesn't seem like it would work, but I don't know. The way they did it was amazing. Ended up loving it, and I'd still go back and play it now. It's one of, if not my favorite RPG game that I'd played, at least on the PlayStation 2. And yeah, that's how I'm going to finish up my list with that one.
All right, so next up is Miss Ellie. So, what are your favorite PS2 games? I know your list is shortened, but you know you can take the floor.
Yeah. So I've realized that I'm more of the younger ones in this. So my games are more kind of kid friendly, but I did play the Gran Turismo San Andreas, and that was an awesome game because I just felt like it was so brutal compared to the new ones, and you have this. My favorite part was the cheat book where you had to go and like scroll or like page and look for all the cheats and just randomly spawn random crap. I just found that really fun. But my other games that I really like was the Simpsons. Did you guys ever play that game?
You mean Simpsons Hit and
The
Run?
game? No, the Simpsons game. Yeah, I think it was that one.
Yeah, I think Hit and Run was a very good one, if I'm not too mistaken.
Yeah, it was really entertaining and just kind of fun for kids and stuff, but you can always mess with it and turn it kind of adult. If you had it in a more modern thing, you can probably have mods and kill like Bart or stuff. I don't know. Or the other one is Guitar Heroes. I know there's new ones, but I felt like that's a really good thing with having the guitars on the PS2 instead of that's. I never saw that in any other thing till more recent consoles. And then you guys didn't mention this one, but Crash Bandicoot. Like, that's a really good game. Really? Like, Crash Bandicoot has got to be one of the greatest games that has been around on the PS2. Like, that's what I feel like. I feel like Crash Bandicoot is a mix of modern and more traditional classic games. And then, yeah.
That- I was just gonna say I don't remember Crash Bandicoot on the PS2. I remember the
Really?
PS1 versions.
There is
there are quite a
PS2
few of
games.
them.
There's the Nitro Kart games, and there's Twin Sanity.
Tag Team
All of them.
Racing.
There's
Brotherhood
also,
Six.
I remember CTR, but that was the only one that I really remember.
They made 2 extra kart games on PS2, and then they had Twin Sanity.
And Wrath of Cortex.
Oh yeah, and Wrath of Cortex.
Wrath of Cortex was great.
I need to play that one, but whatever.
Have you guys played the Gran Turismo, the original one? On
Is
the
that
PS2?
Gran Turismo 3 Ace
PS1.
Pack?
No, Gran Turismo 1, or was it the second one?
The
was
first
either
one's
one.
on the PS1.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So I think, yeah, it's PS3. I mean, the third one, not PS3. Yeah, that felt like that's a really good racing game if you play on the PS2. Other than Fast and Furious, that's a really good game too. Yeah, that's my list. It's really short, and I have really random games that I feel more kid friendly than any of you guys' like badass games.
All right, so next up is Mr. Devil Hunter James. So, what's your list, good sir?
Let me think. You know what? There's a rare one. Soul Reaver, or what is it? No, is it Legacy of Kain Defiance? That's what it was. The end of the Legacy of Kain trilogies, or it's for Soul Reaver and Blood Omen. I love those games to death. Most of them are on the PS1, unfortunately, but Defiance was on PS2, so that's the only one I can really list off that series. Everyone said everything about DMC3. I don't think I need to say anymore. I try to think if there was any good Spyro games on PS2 because I was really trying to think hard about that. So I love Spyro since the first generation.
I don't know. Probably they're probably better than Skylanders these days. So yeah.
Soul Calibur 2 was awesome. I've never played the PS2 version. I only played the one with Spawn. I think that's the Xbox version, but it's in the same generation, so I'm gonna count it.
Yeah, it's on Xbox. It's also on PS3 and 360.
Yeah, I thought so. PS2. Oh, the Sly Cooper series is awesome. I love Sly so much. It's one of my greatest childhood games with Spyro and Crash, of course. Tony Hawk Underground 1 is a really good Tony Hawk game if you haven't played it and you're craving some skating, and yeah, play that. Yeah, I think I think Black Canadian mentioned Kingdom Hearts 2. That game is, much better than the first game with combat, especially.
And the overall pacing, considering like Kingdom Hearts, you're on the island for like 30 to 45 minutes. That's if you played it before.
I played the first game. I hate the tutorial level. How many more do I have left? Like 3 or 4? The Ratchet and Clank series is really good. My favorite, though, was between Deadlocked and 3. I don't know why I like Deadlocked so much, even though then again, I shouldn't say. I went to go platinum it on the PS3, so. Yeah, I'll just say Ratchet and Clank 3. I think that's it for my list. I can't really think of anything else off the top of my head immediately.
All right. Next up is Mr. Brando. So, Brandon, what is your list so we can cap this off?
McDonald's. Just kidding. My list is mostly of games I 100% or near completion. So yeah, I'm starting from number 10. It is God Hand. This game is hard. I'll just put it that way. This game is ball busting hard, quite literally. And overall, I enjoy the game though. I may go back to do hard mode, but but I almost completed all the trials and whatnot, so that's near completion. Number 9 is Crash Tag Team Racing. This game was probably my second favorite Crash game I played, next to Twin Sanity. But I put this one here on this list because I think I 100% this game. It within 2 or 3 days with almost no sleep. Number 8 is Teen Titans, the game that made by THQ. Yeah, if you like beat 'em ups and you like Teen Titans, this is definitely your game. And number 7 is Mortal Kombat Deception, because this was my first MK game, and I unlocked everything from the crypt to the characters, everything. I highly recommend it though. And number 6 is Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. Not much to say there, but you guys said it all. Number 5 is Hitman Blood Money. This game I haven't beaten professional on though, but I've beaten other difficulties. Number 4 is like the king of Dragon Ball games is Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3. Best Dragon Ball game ever. Enough said. Number 3 is it's like a little personal bias, but Justice League Heroes. I bought this game like 3 platforms and 100% them like 5 times each. No life confirmed. Number 2 is God of War 2. Yeah, man, the amount of hours I played in this game, it's incredible. Let's just put it that way. And last but not least, should be no surprise to these guys in here, is Devil May Cry 3. It was up to me, I would put the entire trilogy, but no, gotta have one, and that one is 3. And I broke the disc just playing this game in and out. That's how much I put into this game.
Dude, I remember I had a game where I played it so much I broke it. If I had any honorable mentions, if I could only pick one, it would be GTA Vice City. I played that game to death. It literally died on me. Like the disc couldn't take it anymore.
I did that one to 3.
Yeah,
I killed 3.
Yeah. Actually, there's 2 games that broke. I think it was my what game was that I broke? I don't know. I don't remember though, but it was too much heat from the PS2, and it just borked. The worst part about it is my Democrat 3 game data, it borked on Virgil. I was trying 100% him, and I had to do everything over again because it just screwed up because of Disc Pro.
Yeah, that's how you know you're having fun when you play these games so much that the freaking game just like breaks on you. So, yeah, I think that for the most part, this is all of our lists. I have so many honorable mentions. I will say honorable mentions, but I have so many to list. I will say Vice City, Silent Hill 2, and most definitely I liked Max Payne 2, MGS 2, and there's got to be another. Oh yeah, the Hulk game that came out, Ultimate Destruction. That was fantastic.
Yeah, that's the one, bro.
Yeah, that game was amazing. When you could take two cars and just smash your hands together and make like a wreckage of car fist, it's absolutely great. And that's my dog shaking, but that game was amazing. I would recommend that to everyone. If anyone else has any honorable mentions, go ahead, shoot.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, after hearing everybody else's list, it reminded me of a ton of other games that I was like, oh yeah, like Silent Hill 2. Originally, Kingdom Hearts 2 was on my list, and I somehow skipped over that one. But that one was a good game. I don't know. I could go on forever, but those are the ones that stuck out the most to me. Were I forgot the Kingdom Hearts 2 and Silent Hill 2. I mean, Silent Hill 2 blew me away. It scared the crap out of me. So, I mean, I love that game. I just totally forgot about it. So, that's it from me, though.
I was gonna say really quick, as far as like my personal honorable mentions, I would recommend. I know somebody had already said Onimusha Warlords, so that one for sure. The original Samurai Warriors plus the expansion Extreme Legends, which fixes a lot of problems from the original. I haven't played this one, but Hunting Ground, definitely something that I want to play, and I know that it gets a lot of praise.
It needs a sequel.
And this game isn't particularly good, but the series has gotten better with each iteration. And that is the Way of the Samurai 1. It's a kind of like a choose your own adventure samurai game, so it's pretty.
I'd also recommend Second Sight. That game is like, it was made by the Time Splitters team, and it's basically like a stealth game where you have like psychic powers. It's pretty amazing actually, considering the fact that it really didn't sell well, but they had some interesting mechanics, like you can jack into people's minds, you can sort of pick people up and levitate them and throw them across rooms and shit. It was pretty fantastic for what it was, so I really enjoyed Second Sight.
I guess I'll go next if you're finished, Dylan.
Go ahead.
Well, for honorable mentions, I would most definitely put the first two Devil May Cry games. That, and I would put Berserk Millennium Falcon. That's a game that should have been translated and ported over to the West, but unfortunately we didn't get it. Let's see, what else? I guess Soul Calibur 2 as well. That was a fun game. And Tekken 5. I believe I played 5.
Oh, Tekken 5 is so great. Yeah, Tekken 5 was the best one. Well, 4 is like, I mean, 4 is not that great, but for nostalgic reasons, for the story, it has some stuff going for it.
Yeah, 4 wasn't bad. It was just broken. I mean, it's certainly better than 2 and 1. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But that's just my opinion. Don't have any more honorable mentions I can think of off the top of my head, so I think I'll pass.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyone else before we sign off?
Yeah, I remember I really liked Fatal Frame, especially Fatal Frame 3. Xenosaga I forgot to talk about. That's like on the edge of like the games that I like. Xenosaga, Clock Tower 3, Silent Hill 3. Like those are like the tops that I forgot to mention.
Yeah, I like Silent Hill 3 as well, so that's a good pick actually. Anyone else? No? Well, I think for the most part we're done with the top 10 PS2 games. So I'd like to do some outros now, and we can wrap up and get out of here. So, Mr. Bile Devil Dom, where can we find you? Dominic?
Whoop. Oops, sorry, I had to mute myself. But you guys can find me as biodevil_Dom on YouTube and on Twitter. And then on Twitch, you can find me as Dom241996.
Also, really quickly for the record, Dom, could you outro James, please?
Yeah, so you guys can find James as Hunter James on Twitter, and then on Twitch, he's the Hero James. So definitely check out that stuff.
Okay, so, Miss Ellie, where can we find you?
You can find me under Lithium on. And,
You kind of cut out a little bit on Twitter.
huh? Yeah, on Twitter and YouTube. They're both the same name.
Okay, Elithium. Next up is Mr. SKC. Where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter, some_kinda_, or on YouTube at some kinda channel.
All right. Mr. Black Canadian TV, where can we find you?
Well, you can find me on Twitter at Mr. Black Canadian, as well as my YouTube channel, youtube.com/The Mighty Bastards, where I upload daily content.
Awesome. Mr. 563 Gaming, where can we find you, buddy?
You can find me at 563 Gaming on YouTube and Twitter. And my YouTube channel, I pretty much post Let's Plays and gaming reviews.
Okay. Mr. Arcane Magic, where can we find you, buddy?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at arcademagic514. And Rand, just plug my channel in the description bar wherever you can, because reasons.
Sure, no problem. Mr. Kaneki, are you there? Where can we find you, man? You are recorded, man.
Well, sir, you can find me on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube on the same name of Ghoul War Order.
Awesome. So, you guys can find me on Twitter at RenOperative_. You can find me on YouTube at Renegade Operative, where I do some gaming content. I'm going to try to get this podcast uploaded as soon as I can. For the Let's Reminisce, again, it's going to be about different subjects each time. Top 10 PS3 games, that's going to be even harder for me personally, because like I said, I'm thinking of recent stuff now. So maybe that'll be next, or maybe we'll do like Young Justice, so you never know. But this is the TCP signing off. Hopefully you guys really enjoyed this video, and as always, take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
McDonald's.
Bye.